WJOP Radio 96.3 FM. If we can get Mary Carey to put down that saxophone, then maybe we can get a little detail on what happened with the Newburyport City Council meeting on Monday night. Mary, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you doing, Wynn?
I'm doing just fine.
Yeah, it's been a while. About 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Something like that.
2 weeks is a long time.
I know. Well, a lot of it, a lot going on last night. But at the city council meeting, the first thing that they did at the council meeting, well, one of the first things that they did is they honored one of our finest here, one of our Newburyport policemen, and Senator Ives was there, and Representative Kelcourse, and the mayor, and Lieutenant Simons. He's one of our policemen, and he saved a life. He was off duty too in the car, and there was a car behind him, and it was hit a tree or a telephone pole, and when he got out of the car and went to look, the man was unresponsive, so he took him out of the car and did CPR and brought him back, and he's now in Boston recuperating. So he was honored last night for doing that, and with the proclamation from the mayor and from Senator Ives and from the House of Representatives and from Governor Charlie Baker. So
wow.
So that was nice. His family was there, his little girls and son and wife, and it was nice. It was nice, and all the policemen, a lot of policemen came in to support him and were there, as was Marshall Murray or whatever. So it's nice when you have something like that, and it's nice when they're recognized for this. So.
Oh yeah, definitely recognized, and that training just pops into gear.
Right.
Whether or not
right.
they're
you
in a
don't even
uniform.
think about it. You just go right ahead and do it, and so there was a life saved as a result, and. Congratulations to Lieutenant Simons. That was a nice honor to receive, and nice to have family there and his coworkers and what have you.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it at the city council meeting last night.
At the Newburyport City Council meeting last night. So that was and then we had a lot of we had some public comment, and people were speaking. A couple of the people talked about wanting to have legal counsel present at the zoning board and planning board meetings, which is actually a good idea, because what they say is, people come into the planning board and they bring their own lawyers and their own solicitors, and they basically they're telling the planning board and the zoning board what the law is. So, this, and of course they're there representing their clients, so they felt it's a good idea to bring in some, like the city council, and have him at some of these meetings, not all of the meetings, but meetings where important issues are coming up, and have representation by the city. So I think it's a good idea. I think they'll probably pass that at some point.
Yeah, that does sound like a good idea, because the issues probably will end up before the attorneys anyway, so why not, as Barney Fife would say, nip it at the bud?
Yeah, plus it makes sense to have your own representation, because I can remember years ago going to some of these, hot and heavy meetings, and some of these lawyers that were brought in were very good at stating their case, as I used to call it, the old shell game, Yeah. They could get a lot of parking spaces out of few. It's like the loaves and the fishes. but anyhow, so it only took a few years, but I think that is a good idea. So that was one of the issues that was brought up in public comment by some of the people, and then also there was an order brought in last night by Councilor Vogel. And this was this generated a lot of discussion. It's called Council Rule 11A, and basically what it was to allow for legislation to come into the city councilor. The city councilors, I guess, should bring it to the attention of the mayor. So it would go through the mayor and possibly some department heads, in order to be brought into the council. And the argument was that they're both two separate chains. We have the executive branch, the administrative branch, we have the legislative branch, and the administrative branch. So, but anyhow, I will get to the mayor's comments because the mayor did speak on this also. When the mayor got up to do her comments, she did mention that the order was not intended or to be what it sounded like. That it was just an advisory thing, that, to run it by the mayor so that she was aware of what was going on and what have you. But anyhow, let me go with the mayor's update, and then we'll go into the further discussion on that other ruling.
Sure.
The Mayor Housing Choice Initiative. On February 2nd, the mayor joined Mass Municipal Association board members and testified at a joint legislative hearing at the State House on HB 4075, which is an act to promote housing choices, and it was chaired by Senator Boncour and Representative Hogan. And it's a bill filed by Governor Baker to increase the housing stock across the state. So like 17,000 per year, or 135,000 new units by 2025. So they want to put more housing in some of these communities. So the Housing Choice Initiative is designed to incentivize communities by becoming a housing choice community based on discrete requirements such as demonstrated 5% housing production over 5 years. So I think we're headed in that direction in Newburyport anyhow, with some of that new housing that's going to be coming along. So that sounds like a good program that Newburyport will be involved in. And then the Harvard Kennedy School. On February 2nd, a team of graduate students from the Harvard Kennedy School came to Newburyport to determine if Harvard would accept our city into the Community Rating System project. And they were informed last week that Newburyport has been accepted into the project, and a team of 4 graduate students will start work on a project addressing flooding issues in Newburyport. And the project will run from now until the middle of April, and a core team from the city has been identified to work with the students. So this should begin on Friday, this coming Friday. Seth Moulton was the one who introduced this and told Newburyport that they should get involved in that. So he was responsible for sponsoring the project. So the project focuses on determining how Newburyport can qualify for FEMA's community rating system. So if the city is successful, then rates for flood insurance will be reduced by about 20% to a maximum of 40%. So it's expected that this project report will be used by other communities within Seth Moulton's district as a model for qualifying for this. So that should help Newburyport also.
This is flooding and not drainage.
No, it says flooding.
Flooding,
yes.
Okay. So the river and the Plum Island. Okay, all right.
And probably help with the erosion too out there.
Yeah.
So the Waterfront Trust, Newburyport Redevelopment Authority, and the city and settlers met on January 22nd to review the status of the Memorandum of Agreement, land dispositions, and outstanding issues. And this was followed up by a meeting with the chairs of the Waterfront Trust and the NRA, and they're working on scheduling a joint public meeting all together, and this would be for the public to attend. So they're trying to get this done so the NRA is eased out and the Waterfront Trust takes over the lands down there, and we can start building the park, which we've already started building. But anyhow, the budget meetings with department heads are underway, and the mayor has requested the highest priority in capital items so that we can devote more funding to roads and sidewalks. So we're potentially looking at $1.6 million this year, and DPS is finalizing a 5-year plan, and we'll reach out to new city councilors for their input, and the plan has been developed based on city council meetings at the end of fiscal year 18. So along with the Chapter 90 money and the $300,000 that the city has proposed, they'll try and other ways of finding additional funding, and this will be a 5-year plan to fix our roads.
Okay.
They received the draft parking study by John Burke and are in the process of completing their internal review, and will release the plan to city councilors for the next meeting, if not before. And then they'll be scheduling a public meeting with Mr. Burke to present his findings. So this would include everything that's going on down on Merrimack Street with the new NED proposed buildings that's happening, and the parking garage and everything else.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the NED buildings right around Michael's Harbor side, that area down there. Okay.
So everyone has been asking for that, I think, over the last year at some of the meetings, and John Burke is the one who's doing this traffic plan.
Okay.
I think he was only doing it for that initial area, and I think now, the city was pushing him to do it for the, to spread out, because traffic doesn't just come in that area; it comes from every place.
Oh yeah.
From 95 and all around. So this should be hopefully an in-depth study and something that will address all the parking problems and traffic problems in Newburyport. The garage and the facility, they got word last week from the Attorney General's office that the bid was denied. So the next IAG meeting is scheduled for February 22nd at 6:30 in the mayor's conference room. So they have to, I think, go out for another one.
The bid was denied?
Yes, that's what they said, that the project.
So these are the bid for the parking garage didn't.
It said that the bid protect. Maybe somebody is correcting this. Bid protect was denied.
Huh.
So
okay.
So they have to go, I guess, and
rebid.
Review again. So,
okay.
And then the mayor talked about the schools and how Andrew Wolf of Salem has accepted the position of the new high school principal. So.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So the school committee had 2 finalists, and they have 2 finalists now for the superintendent position, and we'll have interviews tonight, actually, starting at 6 o'clock in the media center at Newburyport High School. So the finalists are Sean Gallagher, Assistant Superintendent of Wilmington, and Anthony Colanino, Leadership and Professional Learning Specialist with Mindset Works. So.
He's worked for a bunch of school districts in Massachusetts, so that's the tie-in over here.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So now the candidates are going to tour the school district today with a school committee member before the interviews. So they'll get a chance to look around, see what they're facing.
Sure.
So community and school forums to meet the candidates are working or are being consulted on this. So, and then the school committee will conduct the final interviews. And so that's tonight at 6 o'clock for that, if you want to see what's going on.
To meet the 2 candidates.
So
for the superintendent's job.
For the superintendent's job,
right,
yes,
yeah.
yes, because
okay.
we already have the principal, and he is accepted. So that's kind of exciting.
Yeah,
it's going to be an exciting school year with a new superintendent and a new principal, and
I hadn't heard anything about anybody accepting a job. I knew that they were down to 2 finalists.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, but he has accepted.
Nice.
So all our testing scores will be off the charts there.
That's
We're
right.
Doing so well, So sometimes new is good, and Superintendent Vicara did a great job, and we wish her well in her retirement. So
not done yet. She still has plenty to go.
I'm sure she's counting the days. Yes, the public here. It's very difficult working. When you work, that is actually a very important job. School superintendent and principals, and if your schools aren't running, and the complaint department is every parent out there, and
sure.
You're taking it from all sides. So it is a difficult job. So they've got my blessings, let me tell you. If it's anything like teaching, yes. Okay. The public hearing on the school budget for fiscal year 19 is scheduled for Tuesday, February 27th at 6:30 at the Senior Community Center. Okay. So we will get back to, the Hale Street Ad Hoc meeting. Unfortunately, the weather resulted that meeting had to be canceled, so a new date's going to be, they're trying to work on Hale Street, so they have to come up with a new date for that. The senior property tax relief, that 41C.5, authorizing the city of Newburyport to have the special election. That was filed by Representative Kalkosa's office and is currently with the clerk's office at the State House, so we'll be kept updated on when we can do that, whatever. So that's it, and they're out for the trash hauling contract with Mello. They're continuing meetings with Mello to identify the potential decreases from the original proposal of an increase of 36% and they've reduced the cost to 18%, but they're hoping to bring that number down further, so the cost of picking up trash is going up.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And there was a 6.5% increase in the health insurance for fiscal year 19, and the results of an RFP issued to solicit additional bids will be presented to the PEC on Thursday, February 15th. And now getting back to the discussion on that City Council brought up on this Council Rule 11A, which was to have legislation go through the mayor's office. Well, Councilor Vogel got up and said that the whole idea of it was just to try and improve relations between the mayor's office and the city council, because he thought there was a bit of a rift there. This is what Councilor Vogel said. Now, if Councilor Vogel could look from generations back, there's always a rift between, not a rift, but you have disagreements, but it's all for the good of the city. So you have to let the city council, God knows, you have to let the city council, because there's nothing you can do their job, and then the mayor does her job. But I think what happened is they were upset with the way it was worded, and what Councilor Vogel meant, and I guess what the mayor meant, wasn't exactly what came in the bill. So Councilor Zede got up and spoke that, that's why we have two chambers of government there, and they cannot be, you cannot make one do the answer to the other. So, and then Councilor Eigenman got up, who I love to hear speak, because he gave one of his, give me liberty or give me death speeches, as I call them. He went on and on and on and was very eloquent. So anyhow, that was taken back. First, they were going to receive and file it, and then I think Councilor Vogel decided to put it out to be retracted, which it got an overwhelming vote, except from Councilor Vogel, but it didn't pass. So that's gone.
Ah. About that. So they were. I guess what he really meant to do or meant to say was he just wanted to let her know what was coming up. Or is this? Does the mayor?
He felt that sometimes people are blindsided, but this happens with the council too.
Oh, sure,
the mayor can bring in things that usually I think mayors and councilors try to. You get the agenda beforehand, so you know what's happening, and as you can see from the mayor's comments, you know pretty much what's going on out there. And if you're a good councilor, you make sure that you consult with the mayor and work with the mayor, and that's what it's all about. It's not like one trying to up the other. I mean, the mayor is the mayor, and the legislators are there to either pass or not pass, whatever. So it's like a second set of eyes, and they have to vote on it, which is good. That's our government. That's the way it runs. Yeah. So, this was saying that they were taking the power away from the council, that if the mayor didn't like what they wanted to bring in, that it could be turned down, or they'd have to go by the department heads if they had something, and if the department heads weren't, it was answering, they just felt it was like, somebody brought up the word fascist in there somewhere, and Councilor Vogel said, he didn't like being called a fascist, and so I think then one councilor got up and said, Councilor Devlin got up and said, we weren't saying you were a fascist. We were saying this is like fascism if this was the way it was proposed and passed. But and the mayor gave a good explanation of that. That's not what was intended. But and Councilor Vogel, he kind of backtracked on it.
So he ran it by her first.
Well, I'm sure he did, but whatever happened with the wording, it didn't come out like that.
Yeah.
It came out like, all legislation would be passed through the mayor, which was not intended.
Right.
And, what Councilor Vogel should have just said is, let's all be friendly and work together as a team, and, let's all play nice with each other. That would have covered it all,
sure. Yeah.
So no. But you got to respect each other's position. And that's what it's about. You got to be adults about this, and I learned that the hard way. You can't stamp your feet and do all the things you'd like to do, and throw people out. You've got to work with them, and it's an important thing, and it always works out for the best when you do that.
Oh yeah,
as we know.
Yeah.
They should be doing that now in Washington, shouldn't they? But they're not. So maybe they can learn from our council meeting last night. Have Councilor Eigenman go and give his speech there.
Well, we'll send him the videotape.
Yes, we can do that. We can do that. But anyhow, it was a good meeting last night, and and it was our government at work, and it seems to be working very well. So
terrific. Well, thank you for the update, and you enjoy a great Mardi Gras.
Oh yes, we had that last night at Immaculate Conception. They
Did
had
you really?
jambalaya and all that stuff, and
Oh, nice.
beads and everything. So yeah, they do that every year. It was kind of like a nice little fundraiser, you know.
So tomorrow's the first day of Lent.
Ash Wednesday.
Ash Wednesday,
yes. When you better get out there and get your ashes.
How about that?
No, and tonight's Shrove Tuesday, so you can have pancakes. My mother used to always put a ring in the pancakes, and whoever got the ring in the pancake, that's an Irish thing. You'd supposedly be the next one married, you know.
Oh.
So when you're 7 years old, you really don't want that, but
No, you don't.
but we'd all vie for the ring, and hope that no one swallowed it.
Oh.
Anyhow, I wish everyone a good Shrove Tuesday, a good Lent, and a happy Valentine's Day too.
Well, thank you very much.
I'm wearing my red color here today, so
nice.
I'm wishing you and Mary Beth a happy Valentine's Day.
Well, thank you very much, and you and Ed as well, and everybody else.
Everyone out there,
Yeah.
yes, enjoy.
All right, we'll take a look at the news, and then we'll have some more guests lined up this morning here on WJOP Radio, 96.3 FM, WJOP LP, Newburyport. News just a few minutes away.